discussed about this what exactly the reformation, pre and post reformation padhiba, and then we will go to the second unit. Now, what is reformation and what is the requirement of reformation? These are two things what we need to discuss every time. Reformation, jemti India re reformation bahut thara hechi, small, big reformations, financial reformations, banking reformations, reformation in socio-economic objectives to enhance the socio-economic objectives, reformation in economics only, reformation in cultural activities, reformation in social activities, reformation in international platform. So, reformation is not very new for us. Reformation is a concept which is came very oftenly to India. But what is the biggest reformation that we need to study? The reformation which is made in the year of 1991. That is one of the biggest reformation, and the the reformation brings a huge economic growth and economic development in India. So that reformation is one of the accountable and best reformation aji porjanto jete reformation hechi seta ajikar best reformation beli ame consider korchu. This reformation makes some changes in in structural platform of economy and in the development economy. It actually did a very divide reformation ta hechi. First one, it will contribute to the structural changes of the various rules, regulation, policies of India. Second ta kon hechi? Second ta hechi, it was make a change on LPG concept. LPG concept is liberalization, concept of liberalization, concept of just a minute, let me go the slide. 10 minutes के लिए wait करो, मैं slide down कर दी. So it is emphasizing to in enhancement of LPG concept. Now LPG concept कौन? LPG concept है liberalization. L stands for liberalization, P stands for privatization, and G stands for globalization. So in the reformation which is being made in the year of 1991, ये actually ये जो तीनटा portion अच्छी liberalization, privatization और globalization को enhance कला. So this is what broadly saying about this reformation. Reformation को. Okay. Now the slide is visible to all of you. Slide is visible, Pilamani?
Yes, sir.
If you see, this is what reformation, economic reformation. Economic reformation, जब तुम्हें slide पे देखिएगा, देखो it will be divided into two parts. गोटे part रे why the reformation is required. That means meaning and need of economic reformation. That is, we consider pre-reformation era, where we need to identify what are the causes of reformation. काहेंकि reformation हेतला? If the reformation हेई नथांदा, then what are the consequences that Indian economy has to face? जदि हेई गला न्यू ता परटा क्लास phase 2 this page. जेतेबेले हेई गला, what are the plus points, what are the pro and cons we are seeing in the economic development. So everything like आपण जदि हेई नथांदा ताले हमें कोन फेस करथांते, हेई गला परे हमें कोन फेस करूछु. So these are something need to be discussed. चलो देखिए first economic reformation. What are the exact meaning of economic reformation? Economic reformation, if you see this meaning को ऐसे देखो. Economic reformation is all about to change set of policies, to change the rules and regulation, and to achieve the socio-economic objective growth of the of any country. The economic objective for, or what are the basic meaning of this economic reformation. ना economic reformation में normally जो set of policies है ताको हमें change करूँ, upgrade करूँ बहुत time रे, खाली change नहीं, upgrade करूँ specifically. The rules and regulation which is being performed or which is being created for the smooth conduct of the economic system, that there be changes because when you have changes you could able to grow. And when we made certain changes in policies, in set of policies, in the rules and regulation, that will create a achievement in the economic growth. So economic growth is not economic development. When economic growth is accessible to 100% population, and simultaneously it is afforded by the 100% population, then we say economic growth simultaneously bring the economic development. But ethi kon hichi na, first just economic growth. So that is meaning of the economic reformation. Then what are the objective of economic reformation? So see to this particular slide, what are the basic objective of reformation? First objective says that it is having a poor performance of public sector, public sector. That's why the economic reformation is required. Objective means what? काहेंगे हमें reformation को active करा हला और काहेंगे reformation करा हला. These are 6 identified objectives. ये जो छोटा हमारा need लिखा ना, these are 6 identified objectives. Why the economic reformation is highly required for the Indian economic development. First, Kochi, before reformation, we do have in India a very poor performance of the public sector. So, who is the public sector? Public sector कौन? Who will answer this? What is your understanding about public sector? I mean, we oftenly say this is what public sector, that is our private sector. So, what is that public sector?
Ma'am, a major undertaking is on government sector.
Okay, this is only that major undertaking is there in government. Rosalind says government own entities. Anyone else? We certainly or very oftenly says that this is what public sector, that is what private sector. Now, how we will distinguish this, and how we will identify this is what a public sector? Anyone else wants to answer? I know morning 7 to 8, it's a difficult time to recall everything because you all are in a half mood of sleep. 51% of shares is owned by the government. Okay, first of all, while we're talking about private sector, there is no interference of the government. There is no interference of the any individual in taking rights, in taking obligations. There is no interference. So it is sole body who are being creating the organization or institution. Now, public sector, public sector is that kind of organization or set of organizations or institutions where government interference is very high. Now, how government is interfering in this organization? One thing Rosalind says that is more than 51% stake is under the government. That is absolutely correct. If more than 51% or more than that, 50% or more than that stakes under the public holding, under the government holding, then we call this is a public sector. But ସେଇଠି ବି ଆପଣଙ୍କର ବହୁତ organizations ଅଛନ୍ତି ଯୋଉମାନଙ୍କର 51% ର holdings government under ଥାଇକିନା ବି ସେମାନେ private sector ରେ count କରନ୍ତି, ଯେମିତି କି ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank ର 61% stakes under government, but still he is acclaimed himself as the largest private sector bank in India. So, but there is no limitation. एमती नहीं कि आपनको 50% stakes government को पड़ेला तामाने आपण पब्लिक सेक्टर हे गला नो नाही एमती किछि लिमिटेशंस नहीं yes if you want to turn your organization as a public sector organization then you have to obey the Companies Act and you could able to turn your organization as a public sector organization as you have devoting and donating your 51% shares to the government. Once you turn as a public sector organization, remember you have to obey all the rules and regulation of the government. You cannot, overrule that. आपण जते भी गवर्नमेंट रूल्स रेगुलेशन पॉलिसीज जहाँ भी अच्छी आपण को सब मानिबा को पड़िबे आपण को ओवररूल करि परिबे नाही अदर कोन हो ना the sole rights of the company sometimes losses its ideas and informations and all जोटा आपण सोल इनफॉरमेशन जोटा आपण सोल आइडिया जोटा कंपनी रो ग्रोथ पई दरकार यू अंडरस्टूड दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड बट समटाइम्स यू कैन नॉट मेक एनी एफर्ट टुवर्ड्स दैट बिकॉज ऑफ it is a public sector organization. So before information, there is a very poor public sector performance. Then second objective is adverse balance of payment. So balance of payment, what do you understood by balance of payment pilamane? This is a fourth semester balance of payment तो already तुम मानन को पढ़ाई जाइथिबो कौन बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट सो जो हमर इकोनॉमिक ट्रांजैक्शंस होची in each and every product जो इकोनॉमिक ट्रांजैक्शन होची to the world that is summarized as balance of payment जेमति कि धर मु तुमको गोटे छोटे एग्जांपल दोची for an example you have like car or mobile phone or computer जोडा कि visible products गुडा को जेतले सेटा इंटरनेशनल मार्केट रे बिक्री होची सेते बेले तार गोटे पर्टिकुलर selling price ता decide करा जाउची now how the selling price being decided ताको हम कहू visible selling price रे रोची कोन ना सर्विसेज इनकम ट्रांसफर रेमिटीज तापर रोची चार्जेस ऑफ एफडीआई चार्जेस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट चार्जेस ऑफ द दैट पर्टिकुलर मार्केट ए सब को ऐड कला परे गोटे पर्टिकुलर प्राइस फिक्स करा होची that is exactly selling price in the international market. Now BOP hela kono BOP is something which is called normally kind of economic transaction जेतबले कोनोसी प्रकार economic transaction होची to from our country to rest of the world. सर इंडिया रो गोटे पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट जेतले रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड रे बिक्री हबो तार कोन प्राइसेस रहिबो केमती डिसाइड हबो म तुम माने कहली सो एटा जेतले बिक्री हबो जे कि फॉरेन मार्केट रे तार प्राइसेस कोन रहिबो कोन प्रकार तार वेरिएशंस रहुची ता ऊपर हमर बीओपी और बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट ता डिसाइड करा जाउची बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट आल्सो डिसाइड द करेंसी denomination changes of currency denomination in sometimes due to this export of products. So in that time when you do not have a globalized market, you do not have a globalization, then how the balance of payment can be easily made by you? It is very difficult to stabilize the balance of payment. That's why it is second cause to create the reformation, it is adverse balance of payment. Buji parlo what is balance of payment? Because these are something it is need to be understood by you and it has its own value. आपण lifetime ପାଇଁ कि ये सब जो term अछि ना जेमति कि foreign forex reserves BOP एगुडा आपण lifetime पे दरकार सबले मन रखिबो देखो बुझी दबो once you understood ना once somewhere it store in your mind then it omit hapani. Third puji fall in foreign exchange reserves. So what is foreign exchange reserves? Foreign exchange reserves hala kono jemti ki currency ro changes hochi like US dollar Indian dollar re convert hochi and we know that the currency reserves re currency exchange re India plays in a very poor position in comparison to all developed countries currency. So fall in currency, foreign currency reserves means Indian currency fall down karuche in worse of the foreign currencies. Fourth reason why economic reformation is required, that is huge, depth of the government. Government jo advances, debt, loan, this is very huge. Before reformation, that's where reformation is required. Ajika date be India government debt is very high because of the high population, because of the demand and supply, because of the poor GDP joda khuchandi, because of the poor inflation apana kahidiyantu. So for that, the huge debt was there in government under the head of the government. Fourth को जितला कोन debt बढ़िबो, definitely inflation pressure भी बढ़िबो. Individual product inflation भी बढ़िबो, national inflation भी बढ़िबो. So the cause, one more cause is inflationary pressure. And the last one is, there are certain terms and conditions of the World Bank or IMF. Because of that, we need to be, reformed. So these are certain objectives, certain, reasons why reformation is required. Reformation reasons poor performance of kahara public sector organizations, adverse balance of payment. आम देश जो बाहर को export होची जिनस गुड़ा से गुड़ा ठीक रे export हे परलनी because of we do not have a pathway of balance of payments. That's why it is required. Foreign exchange reserves जोड़ा foreign exchange currency रो रोची आमर जो denomination identifications रोची तादरे fall down कला. सरकारंगर advances loan debt बढ़ी जाउची, and because of that inflation pressure also increase on our country. And because of the old economic system, the World Bank and IMF push some terms and conditions while they are approaching loan to the Indian market or Indian government. These are the reasons why economic reformation is required. Now side new economic policy, NEP. New economic policy is being divided into two parts. जितला में नुआ economic policy implement होची, that is being divided into two parts. गोटे part है stabilization measures, आ गोटे है structural reformation measures. Stabilization measures means what? Stabilization measures means some certain reformation is required where they don't require any growth. एठी दरकार कोन stabilization. एठी growth रा आवश्यकता नहीं. Growth तो हे जिवा पे, but it is stabilization दरकार. That means stable in form of transactions, in form of rules regulation, in forms of trading aspects. Second approach is structural reformation. Now structural reformation improve the efficiency of the work environment and removing trade restrictions. It is called structural reformation. Stabilization measures को आसंतु this portion. Stabilization measure रे कौन कोचिना से correcting the adverse balance of payment. अपन का balance of payment को correct करा जो केमती करा जीवो. मुझे इमती कहली कि balance of payment is specifically symbolized to export. So that's why the globalization and liberalization concept is being introduced. So liberalization means that a certain liberty has to be given to the organizations, institutions to made their own decision very freely. Second one is globalization. Globalization, concept of globalization. Concept of globalization, it says that the global platform is open for the Indian investor as well as for the foreign investors. So the investment avenues, the investment criteria has to be under control. And upon the globalized market ku jauchandi, global market ku jauchandi, you have to satisfy less terms and conditions when you open your product for the global market. So in that way, upon BOP ku balance of payment ku control kar paribe, upon export ku control kar paribe, as your import ku control kar paribe, which is very good at stabilization ani paribe. Second kuchi, while you make a good balance of payment, certain way inflation pressure reduce because inflow of money which is came to India, jodi apanko India ko inflow of money hochi, it will help the Indian government, Indian economy at a very extensive rate. So it is settled with the inflation. Structural measures se dita changes hame dekhuchu. One is improve efficiency of the Indian economy and removing trade restrictions through the liberalization policy. So liberalization policy रे kon koche na trade ro jo barriers achi taku remove karuchi. Tadre mu gote example debi. If you remember in your third or second semester, ମୁଁ ହିଁ ତମକୁ BE ପଢେଇଥିଲି, and I told you in BE that WTO has certain globalized platform ରେ WTO or GATT ର ଗୋଟେ specific କାମ ଥିଲା. ତ ତମେ ଦେଖିଥିବ 7th କି 8th round ରେ GATT ର କାମ ଥିଲା reducing the tariff barriers. जोटी की first round रे GATT ର କାମ ଥିଲା creating trade barriers, creating tariff. ସେଇଠି end ଯେତେବେଳେ point ଆସିଛି 8th round ରେ, it will try to reduce the trade barriers, and WTO ର ଆଜିର କାମ ହେଲା କି ସିଏ reduce କରୁଛି trade barriers କୁ in an international platform. Now in international platform, if the trade barriers decrease, then more and more companies wants to sell their product in the international market. So international market re jitne trade hobo, remember the currency which is called foreign currency, when it is came to India, it will make a huge growth to the Indian market. बुझी पाछन जदी बहुत अधिक पैसा currency आपनको देश को foreign currency आपनको देश को inflow होबो. If the inflow of foreign currency to our country, where foreign currency denomination is very high in comparison to Indian currency, then Indian economy is going to be strengthened. So ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆଜିକା date ରେ India ର government will give you a good, very easily the visa and all to go, to allow you to go to certain countries and work over there and try to gain create money for yourself and inflow that money to India. So that is what called the removing the restriction in the international platform. Now, what is economic reformation? I have told you the exact details. Economic reformation is actually made or refers to the fundamental change that were launched in the year of 1991 with the plan of liberalizing the economy and quickening the rate of economic growth. The Narasimha Rao government in the year of 1991 started the economic reformations in order to rebuild the internal and external faith in the Indian economy. I have told you what is the need of the economic reformation. An example of reformation already being discussed. The reasons of reformation already being discussed. Reformation in the financial sector, the broad objective thila. The broad objective thila reorientation of the economy from one that was static, state dominated and highly controlled to one that market friendly. The first objective, apart from that particular objective, the reformation orientation is called to change, to make over the static and state dominated highly controlled vyavastha ru market friendly vyavastha ko convert kara jauchi kahaku na economic. Second kuchi macroeconomic stability by substantially reducing fiscal deficit and the government drafts and society savings, that is being already discussed by us. Macroeconomic stability jemti ki organizational, infrastructural, agricultural, age of substantial macroeconomic stability achi. Jodi adhira apan kichi changes no karibe, the second point is saying jodi no kurchon changes, then it will see the huge fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit means government debt body jibo. Then the society will suffer. Okay, came to the unit 2. Unit 2 is your capital market. Now you have to tell me what is capital market. आपण माने ना तो सुनिथिबे ना capital market. It's a very popular. Capital market is very popular amongst everyone. ଯଦି ଆମେ କହିବା capital market is popular, yes, capital market is very popular. But how it is popular and what is the work of capital market? Why capital market is called as one of the most required market in India? It is सबुठु required market बेली हमें कहूचु काई कहूचु? Why? आपको economic barometer भी हमें कहूचु. Yes. Anyone? A finance class must be two way ना. One way हे गले कौन केमती चले वो? So capital market में हमें specifically कौन पढ़ीबा? Constitutions, functions, capital market instruments. Capital market actually दी प्रकार गोटे है new issue market. आ गोटे है secondary market. एठी हमें ए यूनिट रे new issue market पढ़ीबा. Private placement पढ़ीबा. SEBI रो काम पढ़ीबा. Rules and regulation of SEBI and investor protection पढ़ीबा. ठीक है हमें तो सेटा सब पढ़ीबा. But before that, we need to understand what is capital market. No one wants to answer? Okay. Now, what is capital market? Capital market is actually commonly refers to as a stock market, which is exist in our country and which is created by Britishers or British East India Company in the year of 1875. The first kind of company who invites public to buy shares from the company, from the British company, and it will go since over a year like this. The first kind of product which is traded in India, that is cotton, and the framework of the capital market was being designed by the Britishers or British East India Company. East India Company started this operation in the way back in the year of 1862 to support the American Civil War. जेतले American Civil War हला in the year of 61, सेतेबेले Britishers कौन कले ना अमेरिका को सपोर्ट करियो चाहुंतले, but how to support, financial support केमती करिवे? So financial support ପାଇଁ they will started this stock exchange in India. Initially the stock exchange was only covered by the Bombay Brokers Association. Stock exchange रो जदि आपण brief history को जिबे, एरे जेतले start हेतिला ता नाम थिला Bombay Stock Broking Association. So Bombay Stock Broking Association through रे ही semane start करले. Then the association is converted to a act, and then the act was converted to BSE or Bombay Stock Exchange. सेतेबेले भी आपनकर SEBI NSE was not in a movement. जेतले BSE start हेतिला एटा Stock Brokers Act नुहे, Bombay Stock Association Act through रे start हेतिला. बुझिला, this is what a brief history of capital market. Capital market, first capital market is being created by this East India Company in the year of 1962. It is propounded in the year of 1962. Formed by 1961, the American Civil War is going on, and the Britishers wants to help America, and for that reason, financial support करिया पे से कौन कले ना आपनकर share open कले in India, where publicly share being traded in the year of 1962. The first kind of product जहाँ ऊपर share trade ही थिला, that was called cotton, and it was being started by the East India Company. This is what a brief history of the capital market. So if you see in the slides, what is exactly the capital market? Market is a place where buyers meet the sellers. Fine, market is a place where buyers are meet the sellers. But what is capital market? Capital market means what? Joti buyers meet the sellers to create capital. Now the question is, kaharo capital darkar? Capital darkar those institutions, that organizations, that corporate houses, जो माने निजर किछि new venture start करिया को चाहुचंती आ तांको पाखरे पैसा ना. So try to understand the concept, then we will came down to the studies. Now capital कौन? Capital, what is capital? पिला माने finance रे तो पढितो, what is capital? एमती चुप रहिले केमती होबो? Capital कौन? What is capital?
The lump sum amount to create a business.
Okay. Very good. Anyone else? No one wants to answer except one girl. I think Rosalind was answering.
Oh, my Mosmi.
Mausumi. Mausumi, banking finance.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Basically, capital means, ma'am, it's a means it's used for not only for day-to-day transaction but for future transactions also. So like it's you can say like capital is the backbone of any business or any entity or any organization. So it drives the economy basically.
Okay. Anyone else? Now, what is capital? Capital is simply a fund. Fine. Capital. I mean, the relative word called capital. Relative word is fund. Now the what is capital? Not going to any book format to understood in a liberalized way. What is capital? It is a required fund to start a business. Simple. Upon the finance ko jauchanti, man portho financial management. What is capital? Capital is a required fund to start a venture, to start a institution, to start a business. Now the question is how to create capital. So capital market rakamala creating capital. Now how to create capital? There are certain ways to create capital. For an example, Mr. X wants to start his venture. Se tar gote venture start kurchi. Ta pakare bahut guda option achi capital create kariyar. First one, he will take a loan, create a capital, start his venture. But seti kon hobo? The loan re taku interest dabaku padiba apart from the principal amount. Principal amount bi sujibo. Tadre interest bi sujibo. So it is difficult to take loan from a bank. Second option is opening of the share in the general market. So while you are opening your shares, like you have 100% shares, but you will open only your 60% share to the general public under the capital market, under the permission of SEBI. Now, ये जो 60% shares अपन open कले market रे, अब अपन का requirement is 5 crore rupees. अपन ये 60% share को unit price रे divide करिबे, जेमती की per unit हिसाब रे बहुत कम 1000-2000 टंका पड़ो कि 5000 पड़ो, but total lump sum amount जोटा अपन का 5 कोटी टंका रे requirement अच्छी, से 5 कोटी टंका को अपन एमिति divide करिबे, जेमती की लोकों का पाएंगे investment कम हबो 1000-2000 टंका इन्वेस्टमेंट हम बट आपनकर 5 कोटी टंकार रिक्वायरमेंट जोटा कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ 5 crore रुपीस सेटा आपनकर फुलफिल हम बुझी होची. सो 5 कोटी टंका 60% शेयर तो गोटे परसेंट को केते आसी गला मोर देन सम लाख. तो लक्ष लक्ष टंका तो कोनोसी लोक इन्वेस्टमेंट करबनी ना टू बाय वन शेयर. ताको कोन करिए पे आपण ए जो 60% शेयर को यूनिट रे डिवाइड कर देबे. लाइक one share is being divided in 100 units. So other कोन होबो ना आपनकर share individual share price was dropped down to some thousands, not in lakhs. एटा आपनकर drop down कला 5000 की 4000 टंका per share value. ना 4000 5000 टंका share value रे लोक किनिबे. पर जोटी लक्ष्य होई गला लोक किनिबेनी. That's why आपण first कोन करिवे ना आपनको प्रोडक्ट को मार्केट फ्रेंडली करिवे. बुझेला सो आपण को शेयर डिनोमिनेशन टाको मार्केट फ्रेंडली करिवे जेतला आपण को मार्केट फ्रेंडली हे गला आपण ताको गले सेबी अंडर रे निजो को रजिस्टर्ड करले लिस्टिंग करले एंड प्रोडक्ट टाको मार्केट रे ओपन करले 5 कोटी टंका जोटा आपण को दरकार नाउ पीपल विल बाय दैट शेयर लोक माने शेयर किनिबे लोक माने जले शेयर किनले से 5 कोटी टंका आपण गैदर करले दैट इज व्हाट योर कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट 5 करोड़ रुपीस इज योर कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट टू स्टार्ट योर वेंचर सो आपण ए जो मार्केट रे शेयर ओपन करले आपनकर 5 कोटी टंका हे गला आपनकर कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट फिल अप हे गला दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड अ कैपिटल मार्केट एबे बुझ परले so capital requirement of the country is being satisfied by this market by selling the investment instruments in the capital market to trade in through the buyers and sellers. This is what a general gist of this particular capital market. Now asi janto apna slide re kon lekha hai the market where investment instruments like bonds, equities and mortgages are traded as it is known as the capital market. The primary role of this market is to make investments from the investors who have surplus funds to the ones who are running a deficit. बुझेला so this is what a capital market is all about. Capital market है कौन the creation of capital through the platform of this particular market where traders are the buyers and sellers. Capital formation is an essential part to run your business and it is one of the easiest way to create capital for the organization by opening the shares, opening the bonds, equities, mortgages through the capital market to the general investors. Now this is what a simple exercise eta tike dekho. The capital market facilitate economic growth through the following measures. केमती economic growth होची through the capital market. Capital market कौन करछि ना primary securities को issue करछि through the primary security market हमें सेरा पढिया परे खाली बुझि दियो. एटी कोन होछि ना surplus sector रु पैसा जाउछि deficit sector को. Fine, this flow of fund was there from the surplus sector to the deficit sector. Now it is deficit sector. Deficit sector is that particular company who wants to open his venture जे निजर वेंचर ता स्टार्ट करबा ता पाखरे पैसा नहीं से गैदर करूची पैसा मनी गैदर करूची केमती करूची से ओपन करूची ता सिक्योरिटीज एंड मनी गैदर करूची सो द फंड जो फ्लो अछि फ्रॉम सरप्लस सेक्टर जेमती कि आमे माने इन्वेस्टर्स सेलो सरप्लस सेक्टर वी विल मेक आवर इन्वेस्टमेंट टू द डेफिसिट सेक्टर एंड ट्राई टू क्रिएट कैपिटल फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर सेकंड असला व्हेन सरप्लस सेक्टर is providing money that is through a financial intermediations आमे डायरेक्टली जेकी कोनोसी कंपनी रे इन्वेस्टमेंट करूनो बिकॉज 90% population amongst the investors are not very much aware about the pro and cons of the capital market of the stock market से माने stock market रो pro and cons विषय जानू नांती सेति पे कोन होची ना they are always looking forward for the transactions through a intermediation that intermediation jaha ko ame accept करूछु that he is a as a person who is expert in finance, expert in this market, and giving expert opinion about your trade, giving expert opinion whether you made your investment, whether you should not made your investment, where to invest, what is the right time to investment, what is the right time to drag down your money, drag off your money. So each of the informations that is being given by the financial intermediations and these are called the expert opinion people so that we'll take the opinion from that fellow person जे भी individual broker हो और गोटे brokerage house हो गोटे AMC हो asset management company हो तांको through रे these are the intermediations ना तांको through रे हमें पैसा invest करूछु. Now there are different type of instruments which are available in the capital market. कौन instruments available रहुची जेमती कि equity instruments available रहुची, credit market instruments available रहुची, foreign exchange instruments available रहुची and derivative instruments available रहुची. So there are 5 different type of products which are available in the capital market: equity instrument, credit market instruments, insurance instruments, foreign exchange instruments, derivative instruments. These are the certain products of the capital market. Now, what kind of market it is? What are the nature of this market? The nature of this market is being divided into two segments. There are data segment divide market. And what are the two segments? First segment of new issue market, and second stock market. Now, first question, new issue market. It is a market of market where first time of securities are being issued. New issue market रे कौन कोची ना हमें जितने security issue करूचु, जितने first time securities issue होची कौनसी platform रे और ये new issue market है तो हमें कोची new issue. That means new issue. New issue means first time of issuing of securities are made in the new issue market, and जितने आपण further issue को जाउचंदी second time security products open करूचंदी सेटा आपण को stock market रे product बिक्री होची. Then second nature is it deal in long term securities. It a long term security को deal करची. It perform trade off functions. So what kind of trade off? That functions is being prepared and performed in this capital market. It creates dispersion in the business ownership. It helps in capital formations and it helps in creating liquidity. This is nature of the capital market. Now come to the various functions of the capital market. Capital market functions on first one, capital market. We already been discussed that what is capital market. The capital market is a market where we will expecting that the companies create their capital. So it is we are expecting that company creates their capital. Can the capital company create through identification of the available products? Then they are opening their products through the intermediation. Then they will try to attract the customers. They will try to attract the customers to buy the product, to make an investment. Not exactly buy is not exact word, but creating people, awareing people to make investment. Once investment is over, तापरे लोकमानंक पाखकु एमाने कोन ना डिविडेंड दबा हिसाब रे आसुचंदी ता माने once people made their investment, the next step is the organizations who drag their money, they will has to perform a lot to came to the investors with the dividend, with the sharing in profit. So that is what called the capital market is all about. There functions. The first function is mobilize the long-term saving to financial long-term investments. So what is the difference between saving and investment, Pilamani? What is the difference between saving and investment? Now tell me what is saving.
Saving is that portion which is kept for further requirements.
Savings is that, sorry.
Saving is
that portion which is required for
future requirements.
Okay. And investment is not? Even in investment is, we keep our investment for the further future requirements. No?
Ma'am, saving means something which is like left out after all our expenses. And like investment is when we put our savings in some like in FD or mutual fund where we can get where our money can grow. So that term we can term as investment.
Okay. Anyone else?
Investment is that where you can get small profits.
Investment is that where we get small profits. Okay. Yes, apparently you all are little bit correct. But what is savings? Savings is something where we will not take any kind of risk. Very simple thing. I mean, savings re kono si risk no na. While we are talking about investment, in investment we are taking this. Jemtiki, there is a question I saw in a IS UPSC examination, and the question came, how you will justify that insurance is a investment? And there is a answer who is sitting in front of the question maker. Tamare je answer dochi se kahla ki insurance is not a investment. It is a savings. Now, how it is a saving? Why it is not an investment? First of all, the product which being saved by you for a longer time period with no default risk, with a minimum return, that is savings. In savings, no one wants to take a chance. Ame savings upare kebe bhi konosi chance no bani. Savings must be for a longer time period, like we make savings through the IRDA of India through insurance. Sometimes savings do not have a return, ଯେମିତି କି health insurance. ଆପଣ health insurance ରଖୁଛନ୍ତି, ଆପଣ ଜୀବନ ସାରା କେବେ କିଛି ରୋଗ ହେଲା ହିଁ ନାହିଁ. You will never go to the hospital. Then it is a savings. It is a part of your life. You have to do. After COVID, the 100% population wants to make their health insurance. It is compulsory, but sometimes it is non-profitable. But when we called investment is certain things where we have to take a chance. We will face certain kind of loss in certain time, but in return also we will get a high range of return while we're talking about investment. So that is a thin line difference between savings and investment. Savings are risk-free, investment are risky. So what is the first function of capital market? Na capital market ro first kamala jaha bhi apan ko long term savings achi taku se convert karibo to long term investment. Jemti ki ajika date re loko kochandi au insurance karani, SIP niya. Au apan recurring karantuni, SIP karantu. Apan ko gaadi kinibar achi, apan loan न करके SIP through de jo paisa asibo 5 ବର୍ଷ ପରେ so गाड़ी लोन आपण 5 वर्ष सुझी थांते SIP करंतु 5 वर्ष पैसा रखंतु लोन रो बोझ नियंतुनी SIP थ्रू रे आपण पैसा जनरेट करके गाड़ी किनंतु. That means whatever your long term investment गोटे टाइम रे थिला एबे कैपिटल मार्केट होची आको आपण लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट रे सॉरी सेविंग्स को इन्वेस्टमेंट रे कन्वर्ट करंतु. It will more profitable for the individual. Next one, provide risk capital in form of equity to entrepreneurs. So it will always provide risk capital to the entrepreneurs and reduce risk from the head of the market, from the head of the investors. Encourage broader ownership of the productive assets. So आपनको जेतेबेले भी आपण investment करिबे आपण equity रे investment करंतु, so you could able to enjoy the ownership share and the facilities came along with the ownership share. सेटा मु कोन facilities अछि काली पढेबी. Provide liquidity anytime you could able to liquefy your product through the investment. So anytime आपण चाहूचन जेतेबेले आपण को प्रोडक्ट को लिक्विफाइड करि परबे मींस कैश को कन्वर्ट करि परबे. Lower the cost of transactions, improve the efficiency of capital allocations. So these are two other functions, that is lower the cost of transaction. Ajika date transaction cost बहुत जगह रे zero भी गलानी. Improve the efficiency of the capital allocation. So आपण को पाखे जो capital अच्छी, how to allocate that so that you could able to came along with a high profit. सेटा आपण देखिबे. Enable quick valuation. So आपण जो product open करूचन ताको quick valuations करंतु. Provide insurance against the market risk. So these are certain functions of the capital market. Now you tell me, पिला माने बुझी पारलो कि नहीं? And you also have to share with me that other classes ठीक ठाक चलची. Did you have any issue, any problem in other any class?
Ma'am,
ଆପଣଙ୍କର ପିପିଟି ଆଉ ବୁକ୍स ରେ ଟିକେ ଆମର डिफरेंट अछि तो बुक्स रे हमें जहाँ अछि लिखिबे जदि किछि एग्जामिनेशन रे आसिला तो किछि प्रॉब्लम होबो कि
ना ना किसी प्रॉब्लम नहीं, किसी प्रॉब्लम नहीं रे मां। बुक्स रे एलाबोरेशन टा टिके डिफरेंट थाए आ पीपीटी रे जेतु मु एटा निज हिसाब रे बनेछि टिके डिफरेंट रहइबो। सेमति पूरा बुक रु तो मु आनिके पीपीटी कर देबे ताले मोर निजर कोन रहिला पीपीटी रे टिके मोर निजर यू नो अपडेटेड जिंस टिके पसिछि। But if you want to write from book, there is no issues. If you want to write from PPT, there is no issues. It is up to you. तमे जेमिति लिखियो चाहिबो लिखि पारे। Okay, next teacher is here. So I am taking leave from all of you, and sir will carry on.